Good evening, everyone. We welcome you to a meeting of the Buchanan Community School Board of Education. All regular meetings have been posted on our district website, in our central office, and in each district school building. Tonight's agenda has been posted on our website and emailed out to Buchanan Community Schools Board of Education community subscription. Our school board members received the agenda and all supporting documents for reports and action items several days prior to this scheduled meeting, so they can review information, prepare questions or comments, and are ready to participate fully in the discussions and votes that encompass the duties of their office. Board members follow the agenda and review related documents on their devices throughout the duration of the meeting. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There's a time for regular public participation during the meeting as indicated in agenda item G. If you wish to make a presentation to the board during agenda item G, please fill out the Google form located on our district website before item G on the agenda. This form opens for comment at the beginning of the meeting and is turned off once we get through the public comment portion of the meeting. You may also call into the meeting to speak by calling 346-702-3831, PIN number 537-113-760. The board will announce when we are ready for public comment. Please unmute yourself at that time. Thank you for your support of Buchanan Community Schools. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lee.
Here.
Dr. Burnett.
Here.
Ms. Ryder.
Here.
Ms. Tobler.
Here.
Mr. DeVlamick.
Here.
Ms. Flesh here. Mr. Wentworth.
Here.
All present.
Okay, can we have a motion, please, for the adoption of agenda?
I move the agenda for the board meeting of December 14th, 2020 be adopted as written.
Support. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lee.
Yes.
Dr. Burnett.
Yes.
Ms. Ryder.
Yes.
Mr. Wentworth.
Yes.
Mr. DeVlamick.
Yes.
Ms. Lesh. Ms. Tobler.
Yes.
All yeses. Motion adopted.
Okay, item agenda D, recognition of visitors. We welcome everybody to tonight's meeting. Item agenda E, superintendent department reports.
Good evening, community and everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. We do have several reports that we'd like to submit to you or present to you. First, we have our BUC staff appreciation. Mrs. Lesh, I think you've been reading those. Yeah, okay.
You're muted.
Kelly's will be right there.
Yep, he's getting it together.
All right. Michelle to the rescue, but I had them. I just didn't have them marked. Sorry. Okay. So this for our winner acknowledgement for Miss Mary Cole Glazer. And it was written that Mary has done a great job this year running the Ottawa kitchen. She ensures that our youngest students get nutritious, appealing meals every day. She also quickly pivoted to preparing and serving meals in a drive-through format during remote learning days. I appreciate her flexibility and cheerfulness. And we would like to wish her a congratulations. And then also nominated this month was Miss Mary Mitchell.
To extend that congratulations to our staff. I know the food service this month or last month was really working hard on making sure our students had food at home during our time of pause. So thank you, Mary and Mary. Okay, and then the next thing is the board updates. I know each building submitted their board updates as they do usually monthly. You're muted, Sandy.
Oops, sorry about that. So we'll go on to item agenda F, presentations.
Okay, great. So it all came together. I don't know how we planned this out, but this is Becky's month to present, and she's going to do some highlights for food service department. And it came at a great time, right behind all of the excitement around the door-to-door food service delivery that we had. Becky?
Okay, I don't have any video, should I? Let me try. Okay. Oh, there we are. Okay. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Becky.
Yeah, building on what Trish said, we had a kind of a fun 3 weeks. In mid-November to the first week in December. But just to update everyone a little bit. So this year, the USDA has extended the summer food service program for the entire school year. So this means that all children 18 and under are eligible for free breakfast and lunch. This has been a huge benefit to families and has made parts of my job considerably easier. We're not having to track down money. We're not having to tell kids, hey, get some money from your mom. You don't have any money in your account. It's been very nice. There's been a small downside to this has been that there's no financial incentive for families who are not direct certified from the state as qualifying for free and reduced lunches to fill out a free and reduced form. So no one is calling them saying, hey, you owe money, either pay or fill out this form. So that's often the nudge that a lot of parents need in order to fill out the form. So our free and reduced percentage is dropping, and we don't like that to get below 50% because it does make us eligible for certain federal grants and monies. So we did mail each family in the district a letter along with an application asking them to apply, which we got a decent response from that. It's not as high as we would like it to be, so we're going to continue to work on it, but we have gotten some recently, so that's been nice. When the decision was made to go to remote learning district-wide, I sent a survey to all the families asking if they were interested in having lunches delivered to them during that time. Pretty quickly, approximately 140 families responded. My initial thought was that we were going to deliver to families on a bus route, but a lot of families who responded lived right in town, some of them only a block or two from the school. So I began calling them to say, hey, really this is for out-of-town kids. But I quickly realized that they needed deliveries as well. Some of them were in quarantine. Some of them had kids who had to be on Google Meets during that time. So we just decided we would deliver to anybody who asked for it during that time. So we did. We sat down with the bus drivers who were going to be essentially possibly out of work. And they made up 4 routes roughly based on their regular routes. So we pretty quickly put that together. We used the middle school kitchen to cook and package about 380 breakfasts and lunches each day. We had a lot of help from everybody in the district. The maintenance department helped load the buses. The bus drivers obviously drove. The parapros helped us deliver. It was nice to see the coordination between all the different departments. When it was all said and done, we delivered 4,285 breakfasts and the same number of lunches by bus. Most of it directly to people's doors. We actually got out, walked up to the door, knocked on it, and left the food. So it was nice. It was not something I'd want to do all winter probably, but it was nice, and it was hugely appreciated, I think. So we also got some good press from that. I think Trish was instrumental in that. We had a nice interview or a nice ABC 57 segment. The Niles Daily Star did a nice article. So that was kind of fun to see too. Nice to get some good press for the district. So if we go to remote learning again, we've got some ideas for still doing delivery, but a little bit modified. I don't think we would do it the exact same way, but it was a good learning experience, and and very helpful to people. So it was nice. That's about all I've got. So.
Thank you, Becky, for all your hard work with that.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you, Becky.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Item agenda F, presentations. 2, executive team updates.
Team will go in the order that's on the agenda, which is Phil, Daryl, Trisha.
Okay, I guess I need to pop in here. Good evening, everyone. So I will be updating you on the information technologies. Just a few things to bring to your attention from the update that you saw. We've been working to update the district website. We've been making lots of changes to not just the functionality of the site on the outside, but also behind the scenes, which has been really good. So we've been making improvements to make it easier for both buildings and the building staff to make changes to the kinds of content that we want to get out to the public. That included making it easier for PDFs to be posted. That's a big deal now. So before that involved the IT department, and now we are completely hands-off. So everyone can post their PDFs directly to the website, and they're fully viewable, searchable, readable, and translatable from the main website. We're also working on linking our social media to our website in a more robust and granular way, which means that before we had an update that was posted and it went to the district homepage. Through some communications, some discussions with our communications committee, we decided that we would actually like to be able to send out information specifically to the Facebook pages of each building. So we've enabled this more granular control now. So when something is posted to the middle school homepage, for example, or a middle school newsletter or whatever that is, it also automatically goes out to the middle school's Facebook page. And that's all handled in the background through the software and programming that we have in the website. So that was good. We've pushed out over 300 flash drives to students that did not have internet access. While that by itself is a little bit of a celebration, in November, or in October, we started the process of working towards getting access points or hotspots out to those families. So we'll have more information on that in our next month's update. But we did find a way through these flash drives to get information to students that did not have internet access, and that's not while not an ideal solution, it is one that has been working for those students. We pushed out over 100 end-of-life Chromebooks. These are devices that don't work for our needs, but would work okay for students at home. And it was great that we were able to repurpose or rehome those devices instead of having to send them off to be recycled or we definitely want to make sure that they don't get thrown away. So that was great. I'm really excited that out of all of the units that we sent out, we only had like a handful, maybe 20 of them come back with issues. So again, these are end of life. They're 6 to 8 years old. Some of them are older. We just kind of been babying them along, but it was a great solution as a stopgap measure until the elementary Chromebooks that we've ordered arrive. And we're still hoping to see those this month at some point. And then on the, I think that's everything. My November update. Yeah, great. If anybody has any questions or anything, please let me know.
Thank you, Phil. Okay, Daryl Miller.
Good evening, everyone. We didn't have a whole lot, to update on. It's been a really quiet month with no students at the building, so we've been able to catch up on a lot of small, tedious work orders that we just not been able to get to. There's a lot of things that in classrooms you're just not able to do during the school day, and so we've been able to catch up on a lot of the small stuff. lot of preventative maintenance, and we're working with Siemens BAU trying to get some updated controls for the high school because we're having some control issues. And then we were able to tweak some controls at the middle school to run the building more functionally and, save a little bit of money, hopefully. So that's about all we have here at the operations this month. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions from any board members? Tricia Lowry, please.
Good evening, everyone. We just had a board meeting, just seemed like just a couple weeks ago. This one's early, so there was not a huge amount of stuff in the business office. Our month was concentrated on the budget amendment and that process. So Trish, Mark, and I met with all the administrators and went over budgets, and then we applied numbers to those, and the budget amendment, as you'll see later in the meeting, is finalized. We also have met with the capital committee regarding some refinancing that for the bond issues for the community in an effort to save the community money towards the 2013 bond, and then going forward with new bond issues. And then my staff will be working on 1099s and W-2s, roll around here real quick again before it'll be tax time. So we're working on the end of the year stuff like that. And that's about all for my department. Normal payrolls and accounts payable. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Tricia.
Oh. Yep, thank you very much. Have a good evening.
You too. Okay, Mr. Mark Kurland.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to present from my computer because Trish and I are doing two different presentations today. So let's see if you can see. If you recall, each month, because of our remote learning, we have to do a reconfirmation meeting. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, all right. So this month, not a whole lot of difference. We still have about 75% of our kids in full instruction. And then we have about 25% or so in remote. That's the K4 teachers that are doing one classroom each. So that's not a whole lot of difference, really. The big difference really shows up, and Phil alluded to this a little bit, in the fact that we put out some Wi-Fi hotspots in November, about 40, and then we added some more in the first week of December. And so I think he's going to get real specific about that next month. But he and I and Trish wrote a grant to get some hotspots out to students that were in need, and they kind of went back to the principals. So I think we put about a little bit over 40 in place in November, and then some more in December, the first part. The big thing that also was of need was the high school. A lot of students at the high school didn't have internet access, and so parents needed a spot for them. And part of the reconfirmation is that you could do Wi-Fi access at places like the community center, or actually the high school opened up one of their labs, and they have an interventionist in there during the day. And so they have between 15 and 20 kids maybe on a daily basis. Some of those kids that haven't been doing any work at home, Mr. Pruitt, Mrs. DeMaio, or Mrs. Capron, they've been calling those kids. Mr. Pruitt's even gone and picked up a few kids to come in and work. So that's been beneficial. So that's the November report. And then for whatever reason, the state decided that they would do December right away in December, even though there was only 4 days. So yes, I hear somebody chuckling back there, and so I'm going to stop and I'm going to present that one for December. I even emailed the state to say, why are you asking me to do December's when there's only 4 days? It was due on December 6th, and they said, that's what you have to do, Mr. Curlin. So I said, okay, we will fill out this form for December. So the major difference is that in December, because we only had 4 days, we were 100% remote. And so for those 4 days for the entire district, and so you'll see that it says Did we change our instructional delivery? Yeah, we went all remote because the governor had put in the high school and middle school at remote, and then we had done the elementaries ourselves. That was made a decision by Trish and the board. So really, that's where the 100% comes in. Like I said, we also did add. We added a few hotspots and a few different grades that went out. Phil shares a document with me every month, and then he puts in there the dates of when we hand out different grades. So you can see we handed out a 5th grade, a 9th grade, some hotspots in those areas. And then we still provided internet access at the high school again. That's been a big, powerful win for the high school. Parents have been very appreciative of that. Down below here, you will see that these are some of the different things that we do for the special pops. We're doing a lot of one-on-one. That may be depending on what class. The principal's going to mark that off based on what their teachers are doing during the month. You can see that large group virtual for our EL students. We don't have a very big population, so they really get just a small group. There really isn't a large group for them. We only have about 8 kids in the district. That is it for me. I think there's going to be a question and answer session later on if I'm correct, right, Trish?
During the public comments.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Are we moving to the board data report, Trish, or is that later? I don't have the agenda in front of me.
Later.
Okay. No problem. All right. Thank you. I'm all set.
Okay. Patricia, do you have anything to add to the presentations?
No, they did an excellent job.
Okay. Moving on to agenda item G, community dialogue, citizen concerns. Let me check. Earlier we had none. And we still have none. So, all right. Item agenda H, adoption of consent agenda items. Motion, please.
I'd like to make a motion that the consent agenda for the regular board meeting of December 14th, 2020 be adopted as written, which includes the minutes of November 10th emergency meeting, November 16th regular meeting, the warrants of expenditure and payroll for November, recommendations to hire by the BCS operations supervisor, Daryl Miller, and food service supervisor, Becky Kaltenbach of Garrick Stubblefield, and coaching recommendations by athletic coordinator Mark Fry of Andy Janotsky for JV girls basketball coach. And then the employment contracts for the 2021 school year, Malin Williams, transportation supervisor, and reconfirmation of Buchanan Community Schools extended COVID-19 learning plan.
Support.
Any questions or comments from board members? Patricia, do you have anything to add?
I do not have any at this time.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Dr. Burnett,
Yes.
Ms. Ryder,
Yes.
Mr. Wentworth,
Yes.
Mr. Devonick,
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes, Ms. Tobler,
Yes.
7 yeses, motion is adopted.
Okay, item agenda I, recommended action other. Number 1, BBA graduation certificate. Motion, please.
I'd like to make a motion that upon satisfactory completion of district requirements for high school graduation, the Board of Education hereby approve Buchanan Virtual Academy students Isabella Benson, India Calder, and Russell Cole.
Support.
Congratulations. And roll call, please.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Dr. Burnett,
Yes.
Ms. Ryder,
Yes.
Mr. Wentworth,
Yes.
Mr. Devonick,
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes, Ms. Tobler.
Yes.
7 yeses, motion has been approved.
Okay, recommended action. Item number 2, schools of choice resolution. Motion, please.
I make a motion, the Buchanan Community Schools Board of Education exercising the option permitted by Section 105 of the State School Aid Act of 1979 as mentioned by Public Act 300 of 1996 will accept applications of non-resident students who reside within Berrien-RESA boundaries for the available grade level openings as listed below for enrollment into Buchanan Community Schools for the 2020-2021 school year and will operate a schools of choice program in our district in compliance with the statutory requirements of Section 105. The window for application for these openings will be December 18th, 2020 to January 18th, 2021. Available openings for each grade level. At Ottawa, kindergarten, 11 spots. First grade, 13 spots. Moccasin Elementary, second grade, 6 spots. Third grade, 6 spots. Fourth grade, 4 spots. Buchanan Middle School, 5th grade, 3 spots. 6th grade, 6 spots. 7th grade, 5 spots. And at the Buchanan High School, 8th grade, 5 spots. 9th grade, 3 spots. 10th grade, 4 spots. 11th grade, 6 spots. And 12th grade, 2 spots.
Support. Mrs. Robinson, do you have anything to add to that?
Just that this, and I think the practice around the county is to bring this to their boards twice a year, once in the spring and then once in the winter. So this is our winter submission. So just thank you for considering approving.
Okay, any questions or comments from board members?
Trish, I had a question for you. With COVID, we didn't really have, like, we didn't put the openings out there right off the bat like we normally do because of COVID, correct?
Correct.
So is this going to go out anywhere in the community or on our website or to let families know?
Yes, it'll be on our website. Yes.
Okay. That was my only question.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Dr. Burnett,
Yes.
Ms. Ryder,
Yes.
Mr. Wentworth,
Yes.
Mr. Devamic,
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes, Ms. Tobler.
Yes.
7 yeses, motion is adopted.
Okay, recommended action. Agenda 3, budget amendment 2021. Motion, please.
I'd like to make a motion that the Buchanan Board of Education, in accordance with the General Appropriations Act, accept the Buchanan Community Schools amended budget appropriations resolution for the fiscal year 2020-21 as presented, said documents to be entered into the minutes of this meeting and to take immediate effect.
Support. Mrs. Robinson?
Just that the team has worked tirelessly for the last 3 or 4 weeks in getting this done. I want to thank Tricia for taking leadership, coordinating all the hearing meetings, and then presenting to the board. I know we met a number of times, Mark, Tricia, and myself, in trying to get this done, and we presented to the committee last week. So we think we've done some pretty good things in here. So we hope that you approve it.
Okay, any questions or comments from board members? Roll call, please.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Dr. Burnett,
Yes.
Ms. Ryder,
Yes.
Mr. Wentworth,
Yes.
Mr. Devamic,
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes, Ms. Tobler,
Yes.
7 yeses, motion is adopted.
Okay, recommended action, item 4, item 4, 2020-21 extracurricular assignments. Motion, please.
I move the Buchanan Board of Education approves the extracurricular assignments for the 2020-21 school year. It's a very long spreadsheet, but for people that are listening in, this is class advisors, department chairs, some sports related things and other club activities that we're approving this for.
Okay, support. Any questions or comments from board members?
I would like to add one thing. There may be some concern about activities that simply aren't happening because of COVID. And I noticed in the onboard materials, we have an example of a contract of employment. And one of the lines there is that in the event the activity assigned must be terminated or curtailed due to extenuating circumstances, the stipend will be prorated based on time spent.
And I had the same question, just what's going to happen with it? Are they still doing stuff online? And then Ruth I went to the teacher and she said that that was in the contract. So,
and that's been in those contracts for over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for clarifying that, Ruth.
You're very welcome.
Any questions or comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Dr. Burnett?
Yes.
Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
Mr. Wentworth?
Yes.
Mr. Devamic?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Ms. Tobler?
Yes.
7 yeses, motion is adopted.
Okay, recommended action, item 5, closed session. Can we please have a motion?
Go ahead, Ruth, sorry.
That's okay. I move the Buchanan Board of Education moves into closed session to review the BCS candidate for employment and security planning.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Dr. Burnett?
Yes.
Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
Mr. Wentworth?
Yes.
Mr. Devamic?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Ms. Tobler?
Yes.
7 yeses, motion is adopted at 6:34.
Okay, we are going to log off now, but we will return as soon as we are finished. Hello, we are back now. Recommended action, item 6, return to open session. Motion, please.
I move the Board of Education resolves to return to open session at 6:55.
Support. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Dr. Burnett,
Yes.
Ms. Ryder,
Yes.
Mr. Wentworth,
Yes.
Mr. DeVlamic,
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes, Ms. Tobler.
Yes.
7 yeses, motion is adopted at 6:55.
Okay, recommended action, agenda item 7, BCS employment approval. Motion, please.
I move the Buchanan Board of Education approves the employment of employee 1071956.
Support. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Dr. Burnett,
Yes.
Ms. Ryder,
Yes.
Mr. Wentworth,
Yes.
Mr. DeVlamic,
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes, Ms. Tobler.
Yes.
7 yeses, motion adopted.
Recommended action, agenda item 8, emergency operations plan. Motion, please.
I make a motion, the Buchanan Board of Education approves the Buchanan Community Schools Emergency Operations Plan, EOP, as recommended by the Emergency and Security Planning Committee.
Support.
Mrs. Robinson, do you have anything?
So just thank you committee, for all your hard work and your ongoing hard work. Thank you.
Any questions or comments from board members? Okay, roll call.
I just thought we'd mention that this is what we were discussing in closed session.
Oh,
It's a matter of privacy, to not unveil all of our plans.
thank you, Dennis. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Dr. Burnett,
Yes.
Ms. Ryder,
Yes.
Mr. Wentworth,
Yes.
Mr. DeVlamic,
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes, Ms. Tobler.
Yes.
7 yeses, motion is adopted.
Okay, recommended action, agenda item 9, snow removal. Motion, please.
I move the Buchanan Board of Education approves Director of Operations Daryl Miller's recommendation to accept the bid from Affordable Asphalt Paving and Bulldozing for 2 school years, 2021 through 2021-22, for snow removal services.
Support.
Okay. Any questions or comments from board members? Daryl, did you have anything? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Dr. Burnett,
Yes.
Ms. Ryder,
Yes.
Mr. Wentworth,
Yes.
Mr. DeVlamic,
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes, Ms. Tobler.
Abstain, please.
6 yeses, 1 abstain, motion is adopted.
Okay, recommended action, item agenda 10, Bobcat Toolcat purchase approval. Motion, please.
I'm making a motion that the Buchanan Board of Education approves the Director of Operations, Daryl Miller's recommendation to purchase a 2014 Bobcat Toolcat.
Support.
Mrs. Robinson, do you have anything to add for that?
Daryl may have some extra things. I know that talking to Daryl, there's a need for this. We used to have one some years ago. It has been out of service, and it is needed in our district to help within that maintenance department and within the whole facility department with Daryl. Daryl, anything else?
No, there is nothing else at this time.
Okay. Any questions or comments from board members?
No, I liked how you put in your request that you could use it for other things, not just, maintenance and stuff. So school farm, whatever. I mean, it could be used in a lot of different capacities.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Dr. Burnett,
Yes.
Miss Rader,
Yes.
Mr. Wentworth,
Yes.
Mr. DeVarma,
Yes.
Miss Lush, yes, Miss Tobler.
Yes.
7 yeses, motion is adopted.
Okay, item agenda J, information reports and new business. Number 1, fall board data report presentation.
Okay, so thing that I want to do is to ensure that you guys, board in the community, has some information regarding our data, our student data, and what I have asked Mark to do within our meetings, I've asked us to be prepared to present some data 3 times a year, at least to the community and to the board. So thinking about the timing it around our assessments, our fall assessment, our winter assessment, and then our final spring assessment, which we'll do in June. So here we have just some preliminary snapshot of what we've been doing academically. We know most of our attention this year has been on our COVID response. And we still have to, are in the midst of doing our COVID responses, and we are still educating students. So, yep, I'm going to ask Mark to change the slide. So our first slide is a slide regarding our remote learning. We did a survey in November asking parents just for their input on how remote learning is going. And this was, I think, November 23rd. And so we want their feedback. We want to do this well. We know that this is our first time doing this. And so as we are in remote learning, we're growing and we're learning. So we had parent, have they been contacted by a teacher within that past week? And hold on, Mark, can you go back? Mark is sharing his screen, and I don't think he has any, he can't hear me.
Yes.
Is that right? Can you hear me? And if not, I can share mine. Okay, yep. So we had about, 85% of our parents who said yes, they've been contacted by our staff members. And then we have that percentage, 15%, where we know we have to work on that group. So we also asked the question about overall, how satisfied were they on a scale of 1 to 5? And we received a 4.1, which we thought it would be a little bit lower than the 4.1. So we do have some room to grow. We also allow parents to give some comments, and I have comments on the next slide. Just a snapshot of comments. We had about 194 people respond to this in grades K through 12. So I didn't include all of the comments. What I will say is one of our leadership team meetings, our group went through those comments. For e-voting principles, they created a plan of how they were going to address some of the things, the low-hanging fruits that they could address. We know that we cannot address every negative comment that someone gives us, but we can address some of those things. So our principals put their heads together, got with their teams, and they put together a plan of what they were going to do to make changes to better this process. So some of those comments, you're rocking it, you keep it going. This one was saying, having students in the middle school, you are setting the standards. Our teacher has done a fantastic job. Parents were giving very specific comments regarding their teachers and the support they're getting from there. Communication from the leadership, they said it was wonderful. And I'd love to hear that it's easy to navigate for some. The other comments that we had regarding some of the things that we could make it a better experience, clear communication. And I think this was the comment where clear communication doesn't mean just give us more. No, you need to be clear about what you want to say and what we need to hear. So that's really allowing us to be reflective about how we communicate. Really understanding that students having multiple teachers, multiple classes sometimes get confusing. So how do we help navigate through that? There was another one, stop changing the times on us. If you say you have the schedule, stick with the schedule. So, and that is something that we need to do. And I saw within one of the principal's comments, they commented about how they're going to address it into the schedule. And then the assignment should be all scheduled to go out at a certain time. And then another principal with that comment addressed that one. So we all embrace feedback. And I know a lot of teachers, and within this, you want to see progress, and you're really moving towards perfection. So you want to do a good job with this.
Trish, I have a question. How was that the 85% that took it, or how many people took the survey?
So that was the 85. So 85% of the people who took the survey made that. Yeah. So, and it was 194 people total who took the survey.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So this is a quick snapshot, just a big overview of the fall SAT data for our 12th graders. These were 11th graders last year who should have taken it during the spring. There was a big long pause. And what it is showing, we are in the blue, our high school students are in the blue, and our statewide students are in the orange, and nationally is the gray. So we have just over like 34% of our students met both the benchmarks for evidence-based reading and writing and for the math assessment. If we were to look at our evidence-based reading and writing, we did have over 50% of our students that met that benchmark. And for math, just about 35% of our students met the math benchmark for our 12th graders this year. And we'll have, the next slides will show very similar data with our 9th and 10th grade students, and then also with our 11th grade students. So I'll give you an opportunity to look at that.
How does this compare to last year's data?
So that is the other piece that we will present in the winter. We'll have last year's data and this year's data. And of course, it's a dip. It is a dip. There's a big gap that COVID has caused between March and the time we gave this assessment, which was in October. And if we can prepare it, if we have it ahead of time, we can send that out separately so you guys can see the comparison data, because that would be very helpful. And here is the 11th grade data. When we go into our NWEA data, we'll have some similar data like just as we talked about. Now, we are going off of the RIT scores for our NWEA data for 8th grade, for K through 8. So for our 8th grade data, for our district grade level mean, it was 226. The norm RIT for that grade level is 224. So we were above the normed RIT for our 8th graders for NWEA. And then if you notice the same thing for our math, our district grade level mean RIT was 219.6, and the normed for that is 217.2. So that grade level saw they were higher than the norm. And this is a little bit smaller. So this is seventh grade and sixth grade. Seventh grade math. You see they're just a little bit above the normed data, the normed mean RIT band. And then if you notice for seventh grade language arts, the reading, our district average was 217, and then the norm was 213 for seventh grade. For sixth grade math, the district average was 211, and the norm grade level was 213. So we were just a bit under for math in sixth grade. Reading for sixth grade, our district average was 210, and then our norm was 209. So we were just above average for that for sixth grade reading. And then this will show our fifth grade. So all that be kind of middle school. So the district average for fifth grade was 207.3, and the norm was 207.7. So we missed it just by a smidgen there. District grade level for language arts in fifth grade was 203.8, and the norm was 202.9. So we were just above for fifth grade. And now we're going to go into our moccasin students. Fourth grade, 198 for math, and then for our district average and for our norm is 197.8. So we're just above there. Language arts for fourth grade, 197.8 for our district average, and then the norm grade level is 194.7. So we had some points above that. Third grade district grade level norm average was 186 for math, and then the norm grade level was 186.3. So we missed that just by a smidgen as well. Language arts for third grade is 187.4 for our district, and then the normed is 184.3. So in a lot of cases, we are doing very well, especially in reading. Although we know there's some areas of growth. So we do know that we have students that you need to work with on closing those gaps. Second grade at Moccasin District, average was 168.4, and our norm for that grade level was 172.4. So we were down in math in second grade. Grade level for language arts is 165.3, and our normed is 169.6. So our second grade is down in both reading and math, and that could take a tribute to some of the transitioning from one building to the next, and especially during a critical period in COVID. So Ottawa for math, first grade, the average for district is 156.8, and the average for the norm grade level is 157.2 for math. In language arts, first grade, the average for the district is 153.4, and the norm is 153. Then Ottawa kindergarten, the district average is 142 for math, and then for the normed grade level is 136.6 for math. And usually you don't see that, especially in kindergarten. So we got to give our little some praise there. For our district grade level norm in reading for kindergarten is 140.1, and our normed grade level in reading for our kindergarten is 134.1. So they are above in both reading and math for kindergarten. Any questions regarding the academic data?
Trish, I have two questions. One, the grade level mean RI RITs, are those are historical. Those aren't just this year's trends, right?
Except for right.
But they're historical across the United States.
Correct. Yes, you're right. Yep, that's
Okay.
what is normed. Yep, it's national.
And what is more important that we're focused on, are the mean scores, or the number of students that are above those numbers? Because certainly, it kind of as a general rule, as I look at it, we're 50 to 60% of the students are meeting that, so we still have 40% to work on. Is that a fair and accurate statement?
That is. So we are within each building. They have looked at their data, and there are groups of students of where they're, especially I'm going to say at the elementary level. What I know is they have grouped them and made goals for each of them to close that gap. So there might be more of a focus of, I want to say, more of the bubble kids, because we know we can push them a little bit harder and faster, while bringing those other kids that are well below along as well. So you want to get to all of them, but it's going to take a little bit longer for those ones who are well below that grid band to move.
Okay. So different focuses for each of those two groups.
Correct.
Or probably more than two groups when you really break it down, but okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this is just going into some of the student supports that we have in place. So we have the professional learning community meetings that are taking place. I attended a meeting I pushed into a meeting at the Moccasin building, Ottawa, and at Buchanan Middle School. Lots of deep dialogue. Teachers are looking at data. Teachers are looking at individual students. The interventionists that we have are also working with students, but lots of rich dialogue that comes out of those discussions of how to help students do better. Teachers are having small groups, one-on-one meetings with students remotely. I was able to view one of those at the middle school. Intervention facilitators are having remote small groups, one-on-one meetings. Counselors are meeting with students remotely and via the phone. Administrators and interventionist specialists are contacting parents as students not attending Google Meets. And I will admit, I did get a call from a couple teachers for my students. So high school has opened an internet room for those students without access. The tech department has supported parents with device and internet issues. The district has partnered with T-Mobile to purchase hotspots. And then we also had Riverwood attend one of our leadership meetings, Dr. Ann Cornell, to give us information about their crisis mobile team. So if there are students who might have some emotional issues and need some supports, they are there to help us as well. Another thing that I'm working through is there is a group in Michigan that is partnering with school districts to give students who are not responding to the remote learning a one-on-one coach. So I know they will be limited on the amount of coaches that they have across the state, but it's on a first come, first serve basis. So I did apply for our district to receive some of those services, which will be free of charge. So lots of supports that are going on to help students throughout this, and we're almost done. So here's just some district enrollment data. You guys have the numbers. There's some data here. We have it broken down by buildings, and you have some data here from 2020, count day October 2020, and then we also did a count in December 1st, 2020. So you have that broken down there. Our count day number was 1509.89, and then in December 1st, looks like we lost a student. And that student looks like it went to BBA, or she went to BBA. I was reading an article last week regarding the number of students across Michigan that have not enrolled or are someplace else, and districts are down across the state. And I think overall it was like 53,000 students that have been either unaccounted for or just not enrolled in public schools. So I wanted to show that graph that is on your left. And then on the right is our enrollment data. It shows where we have dipped, and in most grade levels we have dipped. We have just an increase in our second grade and our first grade. There is just a different way to show our data. I think the next slide will be some our CTE numbers, and it shows the total number of students that are enrolled in the courses, and this is students from all of our around the county. So, and some of those class sizes were limited due to COVID. That's the end of that. What questions might you have?
I appreciate the information. That was a lot of information, but good information. I had one for you or Mark for when we went off for 3 days and this last week back, did we see our numbers back? Were they back to, because I know during virtual for obviously Ottawa Elementary for me, there were like 23 in my son's class and there was only like 14 at a time on. So then back in, and I know they were doing different things to reach and stuff. So I'm not saying that. I'm saying this week that we were our first week back. Did we see them return back into the classroom? Do we know?
I don't have that data, but I can get it to you because there's some other dialogue about, so I read an article about that kind of this morning. As people are returning, are they going to send their kids back?
Right.
So I will have that data.
No, and no rush. I just know that was one question of mine. Are they showing back up like the people that were in person and then maybe weren't on virtual and they're going to be back, or are parents holding them because of COVID? So just was wondering, just a curious question.
Good question. Yep. All right, other questions?
Thank you.
All right.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, item agenda J, information, reports and new business, emergency planning committee. Kelly, you can go ahead.
I can go ahead. We met on the December 7th, I think. We met online and we discussed a lot of our emergency plan. The biggest thing we had we were just making sure we had the most current document. And then we had a very robust document with the wrong name on it. So then we are going to transition those two forms together for our emergency operation plans. And then we started for our group, which was great because it is a huge document and it does need to make it easier for, year to year transition. One of the forms had a lot of specific names and then you have to go in and change them all. So we are going to try to get back to the form of titles instead of direct names, where the direct titles would just be one page and then all through the document, it's just superintendent instead of her direct name in there. So we're working on that. The document is a constant moving document, updating, having meetings, discussing certain topics. The other thing we did is we did a Google Drive for it. So we all can participate. We can all see the changes. We can all review. We are going to do an ongoing task list for our group just to make sure we're hitting all the points because that's the problem with a large document or when you only meet so often is that you tackle the task, you get it done, and then we don't go back to that document. So we're going to work on that and getting that hammered out. So that is done. Our emergency operations plan is due January 1st to the county for approval. And with that approval becomes grants and everything else that we need. And then from there, they do practice drills, some trainings for staff, just the education of the EOP. So, and that's all listed and going to be worked on. But anyways, that's what we talked tonight in our meeting. We have to discuss it per state laws. You cannot actually present it in person because it has a lot of security information in it, building charts, documents, layouts. So anyway, so that's why we have to go into closed session, just so everybody's aware.
Thank you, Kelly. Any questions or comments from board members? Okay. Information item agenda 3, facilities committee meeting. Was someone going to go over that one? Who was in that meeting?
I was in that meeting. I would say from a high level, I'm trying to remember the name of the company.
Site Logic.
Yeah, Site Logic. So we for the bulk of that meeting, we met with Site Logic. They're a company that will review and they can they looked at our utility records and they could what we talked about is they would give us a proposal that, hey, how can they take our energy costs and save them over a period of time, and we can determine what that period of time should be, and then they can then implement savings in a district in all that, you know. So then we could take some of that savings. Basically, we could take some of our sinking fund dollars or, you know, general fund dollars, depending on what we want to do. We could take some of that and spend it now, maybe even bond some of that, and then realize the savings over a period of time. And once that is paid off, those savings we continue to collect. So they just again went over what they think they can do. We're talking about going to the next step, and then they could go into a deeper dive as to what can they do for us, how can they save us that money. So anybody else on that committee that wants to add to that?
I will say that we scheduled an hour for this meeting, and we were there discussing all of the components of Site Logic for almost 2 hours. So it was very in depth.
2.5 hours.
Well, and then I had the next meeting, so it was a long night. But Jim, you did a good job of explaining it. And Site Logic, I might add, is more than just an energy savings group, but if and when we decide to do other things, they can go from start to finish. And it's one package where we wouldn't have to contract out to various things. So we talked a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, they have the architects, the engineers, they have, when you get to actually doing the project, the on-site managers.
Right.
They're the one-stop shop.
They're the Walmart Myers of school buildings. And then we also had, and I don't remember the name of that company, where we talked about bond issues.
PFM.
Okay, yeah. PFM. And I found that really fascinating, and it's something that we need to explore more about that. How we can get the biggest bang for our buck now that interest rates are low. Okay. I learned a lot of information in a long time.
All right, any questions or comments from board members? Okay, moving on for information item agenda 4, the personnel committee meeting.
And I'm going to do that.
Yes.
And this meeting was on December 9th at 5:30, which was really, what time? 8 o'clock, 8:30?
Patiently.
Yeah. And on that committee was Sandy, Jim, and myself. Poor Sandy had to be waiting in the wings. And also Trisha, Mark, and Trish. And this one, we reviewed the central administration salary, and the pattern of the district in the past is to increase the salary of central administration based on the average step increase for teachers. For the 2021 school year, the average step increase was 2%. The 2% increase for central administration, administrators, and district exempt staff was shared with the committee, and Trish declined that increase. So that's what we discussed.
Can you decline hers personally or all, or I guess explain that? Sorry.
Trish?
Personally.
Yeah, that yes.
Mine personally.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. Any questions or comments from board members? Okay. Information, item agenda 5. Mr. Lee is going to go over the Finance Committee meeting.
Yes, the Finance Committee, Budget Committee met on December 10th. Committee members were Sandy, Jim, myself, and also in the meeting were Trish, Mark Kurland, and Trisha Lowry. We reviewed the amended budget. I gotta imagine Trisha could tell you, but I would imagine this is the most fluid budget revision that we've ever seen because of the circumstances around COVID, of course. But just to give you an idea, projected revenues for this year's budget actually rose by almost $1,900,000 over compared to the original budget, and that had a lot to do with the state aid being a lot higher than what we had originally budgeted for, and also all the CARES Act money, plus due to a lot of other issues, tax money, etc. The expenses for the revised budget went up about $1,200,000 compared to the original budget. And some of that is spending of the CARES Act money on technology, on PPE, etc. Also, another big item that I'll just mention is the virtual academy tuition, because we have so many students enrolled in virtually. So that left us, our original budget, we had a projected deficit of a little over $800,000. And so with this revised budget, we had a projected deficit a little over $200,000. So the projected deficit dropped. In the meeting, we did discuss adding the Bobcat that we added tonight, voted on tonight, and also adding another van. And so that brought the projected deficit up to about $290,000. That's all I had.
Any questions or comments from board members? Thank you, Chris. Okay, moving on. New business, item agenda 6, school board member recognition. Mrs. Robinson, do you want to do this?
Yes. I don't know if you want to recognize yourself, Sandy. So yes, we're going to just take a moment to pause, and I'll just start this out with just telling Sandy, Jim, and Dennis, thank you for your all of your support for all of our students during your years of service. I know me personally, I felt welcomed. From the time I started my interview process, you guys made it open. You made it more comfortable for me to interview during that time. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate all the support you've shown me. Can you all hear me?
Now we can.
You cannot.
We lost you for a minute.
Okay, so my connection is still circling around. I'm sorry. So that you supported the district this school year. I do want to say that I've enjoyed working with each of you, and your time and dedication that you have put into this work for our students and staff is celebrated and appreciated. I just want to thank you for your service. And I'm going to open this up for other board members to make comments as well.
I'd just like to say it's been an honor to serve with all three of you. I relied heavily on all the board members as being the new board member, and I relied heavily on definitely on Dennis and Jim and Sandy, and I really appreciate all you've done.
Thank you.
I just would like to say that we will miss your dedication, your tireless efforts. This is a thankless job. There's just no question about it. But I want to thank each and every one of you. I appreciate each and every one of you. You know, it's been difficult with COVID and some other issues, but you rose to the occasion and you served this community and this school very well. But I want you to all three know that I so appreciate all of you.
Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you guys for your service. You guys are going to be missed. You know, it's kind of, we've been together for a while, so it's kind of hard to replace team members that have been together for some time, but really appreciate all that you've done and have made this district better than what it was when you guys came aboard. So thank you very much.
I would like to say the same. Thank you. And I want to thank your families because it is a huge dedication and they all suffer when you guys have to attend so many meetings. But your dedication, knowledge, and expertise has been greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
We have presents.
I think you should open them.
I do too.
Okay.
I'm not ready to say goodbye to you guys yet.
Oh no, we'll see you. Maybe virtually, but eventually we'll see you in person.
Is Jim on? Is he opening?
Where is Jim?
I'm opening.
He's opening.
Aw.
Aw.
It's a plaque. Buchanan Community Schools with heartfelt appreciation for your loyalty and dedicated service to the Buchanan School Board. Sandy Tobler, board member 2010 to 2020.
Wow. Very nice.
Excellent.
Mine said Sandy Tober too.
See? I'm just that good. Well, thank you. And we know Michelle and Trish were behind this, so very nice.
Thank you, Trish. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
You are the glue. Michelle, you are the glue that makes it all happen. So thank you very much.
Yes, she is. Okay. Any questions or comments from board members?
I just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody and have a Happy New Year and take the 2-week break to try to relax and find some. I know, Mark, you're laughing. You guys have been so busy. But I wish everyone and our staff and our students a safe and happy Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you. And you too.
And
Ruth has something.
Yeah. Happy New Year. It's got to be better than 2020. I feel that 2020 is the lost year, and they'll make movies with that title. And it'll be interesting. I just wondered if all of us are going to be on the onboarding meeting on Wednesday.
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And it would probably, Harvey and I have talked a little bit about the idea that perhaps if there's a section that you would particularly like to review with the new board members, shoot me a text and we'll try and figure out a rotation or routine so we look like we're organized. So I would appreciate that.
Okay.
And yeah, look forward to 2021 and seeing you all in person.
Hopefully sooner than later.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, Ruth beat me to the punch, but the next board meeting is virtual onboarding workshop Wednesday, December 16th at 5:30 p.m. And the meeting is adjourned. Have a good evening, everyone.
Goodbye.
Good night.